What's up with it, Raider Nation? It's your boy, Raider Honcho, and I'm back with a brand new video for you. Alright guys, get right into it. You already know the vibes. You already know what type of time I'm on. If you're not a subscriber to the channel, well damn, subscribe to the channel. Hit me up on Instagram and Twitter, both at Raider Honcho. Now, before we get started, I gotta apologize for my voice, my look, everything. I just woke up. It's like 8 o'clock in the morning over here on the East Coast. I got my default settings on. My voice is hoarse. My complexion ain't even fully set in yet, so please, I apologize. I got a lot of stuff to do later, so I gotta record this early in the morning. You might hear some people mowing the lawn and neighbors yelling and stuff. It could happen. It could happen, but I digress. Let's get right into the video. Now, I want to talk about some of the comments that Bill Belichick has. You seen the thumbnail, you see the title. Bill Belichick has words for the Raiders fans. Now, let me kind of preface by saying he ain't really talking to Raiders fans directly, but I feel like some of the comments he made would apply to us as Raider fans. Now, he was talking about you're not going to be able to sustain long-term success in the NFL overspending for players every year. Year in and year out, you're going to get the big ticket item. You're going to get that big ticket free agent spending all that money. He says you're not going to have the type of 20-year success that the Patriots had. If you did that, at some point you're going to have to play with lesser teams if you want to do it the right way. So at the end of the day, he's pretty much saying you're not going to be able to have the Patriot success and perform the Patriot style of success if you're overspending every year. Now, how does that apply to us? Well, I think it applies to us because we're kind of the Patriots 2.0, right? A lot of the people we have in place here are former Patriots, and I think they might do things the same way. Now, he did go on to say that he feels like Jacksonville in 2014 suffered from this. He thinks the Rams and Tampa Bay is suffering from this right now. The only issue I have with all that is that, well, damn, the Rams and Tampa Bay have pretty much won Super Bowls recently. So as Raider fans, you got to ask yourself, and I want you to get down in the comments and start answering these questions as I give them. Would you sacrifice 20 years of competitive success, relative success, for 1 or 2 Super Bowl contending years? Would you? I mean, I've been Raiders fan for over 30 years. And we haven't had much success. We haven't had many competent teams over that time. So I got to ask myself, well, damn, if we had everything the same right now, but yet we had a Super Bowl or 2 to show for it, would I be content? I mean, look, I don't know, man. I would just like to see the Raiders playing the Super Bowl. Now, I wonder if this is the same type of thinking and thought process that Josh McDaniels is going to be on, that Dave Ziegler is going to be on, when us as Raider fans always want the regime, the ownership to go get these star-studded players, like the big names, right? The names on the jersey. I always told everybody, it's not about the name for me, it's about the game. It's about the productivity. It's about what you bring to the table, not just the name, because in the history of the Raiders franchises, I know we've got the Randy Mosses. We got the Dante Culpeppers. We've had big names that have success somewhere else, and then they come down here to Los Angeles, Oakland, Vegas, and they don't seem to have that same type of success. So for me, I'm not necessarily saying that I want to go out there and spend all the money the Raiders have, even though it has just been reported that the Raiders are worth billions and billions with a B, right? It's worth billions of dollars at this point that they probably could afford to go get some star-studded players for the price tag. But I think the Patriot way is to not sacrifice any long-term productivity or competitiveness just for the short term. So I don't think we're going to see the Raiders necessarily go out and do the crazy deals that once were done by the Al Davises, by the John Grudens. I think the Raiders are kind of just going to go get systematic guys that fit the system that they want to put in place and kind of let the chips fall where they may, which I don't really have a problem with, because I have seen the roster being flipped right now, and I told you guys a year ago that this was going to be a rebuild and that the Raiders are going to be rebuilding. They're not going to reload. You don't get rid of Darren Waller, Derek Carr, and players like that are cornerstones to your franchise and just say, oh, we can just plug anybody in and have that same type of success. I don't believe that. I think the Raiders and management and organization, as far as it is concerned with Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler, are going to build their own roster. So it's going to look completely different for years to come. And if it's going based off what Bill Belichick is saying, that you can't go out there and just overspend for these players without eventually having to pay the bills on that, pay the tax on that. Meaning, if I spend $100 million in 2023, eventually maybe in 25, 26, 27, I'm going to have to pay those bills on that, pay the tax on that, meaning I'm going to take the field with a team that is just not very good. And that's what Tampa Bay is doing right now, and that's what the Rams are doing right now. But again, they've had some moderate success. I mean, shit, they won Super Bowls in the last 3 years, right? Last 3 or 4 years, they've been in the chase. They've been in the Super Bowl. So, I mean, as Raider fans, what would you do? Would you sacrifice that? The only difference is between what I feel like Bill Belichick is saying and what we're doing. And you know, you're going to have a lot of people say, well, yeah, that's exactly what's going on, Honcho. We're not going to spend all that money. So you have to be patient. You have to just trust the process and all of that. Look, that's cool. But at the end of the day, I'm not asking for y'all to go spend a bunch of your money. I'm asking for y'all to spend some of your money in the positions that seem to be important for us to be successful. Okay, like it seems like my issue with the Raiders organization is not that they don't know football. It's not that they don't know how to draft. That's not the point. My problem is what they prioritize, okay? Like, it feels like the Raiders organization prioritizes running backs and wide receivers, but doesn't prioritize the defensive line or the linebacking core. Like, that's an issue for me, not just because I'm a defensive coordinator, but because I do believe that in the way the NFL is played today, it is going to be high scoring, but at some point, you're going to have to get off the field. You're going to have to make a stop. You're going to have to be on the field with 2 minutes left and find a way to stop the other teams. I mean, we've seen it last year, game in and game out. Yes, I know Derek Carr didn't play well. I know the offense sputtered and slowed down and kind of hit walls at halftime of games and didn't produce any points in the second half. But at the end of the day, as a defensive coordinator, if you give me a 20-point lead, I don't care if it's the first quarter or fourth quarter, it's my job to not surrender that lead. Yes, it would be helpful if you went and put more points on the board, right? But at the end of the day, 20 points is enough for me. That's 3 possessions. Right? That's 3 possessions. That's enough for me to win the game. But we have consistently not put a defense together that can consistently go out there and protect leads, whether it be a 1-point lead or a 20-point lead. So no matter how bad Derek Carr played last year, no matter how much production you didn't get from that offense in the second half of games, we got even less production from our defense, and that's not a knock on anybody. Obviously, I like the Nate Hobbs, I like the Marcus Peters, I like the Trayvon Merricks, I like the Max Crosbys, right? I like the players we had. I love Denzel Perryman, like I loved him, right? Like he was a great player. But at the end of the day, the devil is in the details. And when you look at the details of our defense, it just hasn't been very good consistently, right? It hasn't been a very opportunistic defense. So at the end of the day, I just want the Raiders organization to prioritize the things that are important to winning. Not the things that are important to me, like, oh, well, Honcho wants a 6'3" cornerback. Man, I'm not saying all that, but we do need a good one. Right? I'm not saying we got to go pay $100 million for Ray Lewis, but damn, we need a good linebacker. Like, we need to start prioritizing the positions that are actually going to make us better. No matter how bad you thought the offense was last year, the offense still did enough to have top players at positions, right? You had one of the top running backs in the NFL. You had one of the top receivers in the NFL, period. So the offense didn't need 4 or 5 more wide receivers. But it seems like this organization just isn't prioritizing the positions that need, or the positions that are needed to actually be successful in contending for Super Bowls. I know the offense is going to be good, but at the end of the day, you got to be able to stop other good offenses. And I just don't know if the Raiders have prioritized that this offseason by not drafting Jalen Carter. They probably prioritize the look or the persona of the Raiders, and we just can't afford to have any more red flags. Well, we can't afford to have any more losing seasons. How about that? We can't afford to be having the home games look like road games. How about that? Like, how about we actually prioritize winning games and stop prioritizing how it looks? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it looks great to have Devontae Adams. To win 6 games doesn't look so great anymore. It looks great to get rid of Derek Carr. Well, to be sub 500 doesn't look great anymore, right? Like let's prioritize actually winning games. Like, and I understand that this might be decisions that they're making now for the long run. Yeah, that's a possibility. But at the end of the day, I can only give you my opinions of what I'm seeing thus far. I can't give you opinions of what they're going to look like in the future. I can't give you opinions of what they're actually thinking. I don't know those things. All I know is that for me, it feels like the Raiders prioritize high explosive offense. They have prioritized the wide receiver room. They prioritize having 7 running backs on the roster. I want them to prioritize the defense. I want them to prioritize having linebackers that can cover and that can tackle. I want them to prioritize a defensive front that can get pressure on the quarterback from the inside. That zero tech, that 1 tech, that 3 tech. All right, I understand that the 5, 7, and 9 techs are going to be good. I know that. But when you're rushing from the edge, it doesn't really mean much if you don't get no pressure up the middle, because the pockets are built to allow you to go around the edges. So as good as Max Crosby is, and as good as Tyree Wilson might be, and as good as Chandler is, whatever the case is, if you're not getting any pressure up front, like in the middle, at the end of the day, quarterbacks are going to step up. They're going to scramble. They're going to pick us apart because we don't have anything in the middle, right? So I feel like the Raiders need to prioritize that. I want you to get down in the comments and not let me just know what you think about Bill Belichick's comments, and do you agree with that you can't be overspending year in and year out if you want long-term success. Get in the comments. Let me know what you think about that. But also get in the comments. Let me know what you think about what the Raiders prioritize and what they don't prioritize. I feel like my issue with the Raiders is they don't prioritize the defense. That's just my personal issue. Get down in the comments. Let me know what your personal issues are with the Raiders if you have any. If you don't have any, shit, I don't give a damn. Get down in the comments anyway and tell me why I'm wrong. If you like the video, like the video. Like the content on the channel, subscribe to the channel. Hit me up on Instagram and Twitter, both at Raider Honcho. Until the next time, as always, Raider Honcho out.